Hey guys, I'm Ryan Raymond. It's been a bit of an adventure getting this going here, but I got my stream back up and running. And tonight we are going to do a t-shirt design in Procreate. And if you haven't subscribed, BeeJayDeL has an amazing channel for Procreate tips. The link's in the description. He does a weekly art challenge every week. So this week I decided I was going to make a video and respond to it. So that's going to be this video. What we're going to do is we're going to jump right over here into my iPad. I'm in Procreate. I'm using an iPad 12.9 inch. Who knows, my sound could be really peaking right now. I had to go through a whole bunch of settings, and it could be ugly. So we'll see how that's going to sound and adjust that. Let me know in the comments how the sound is tonight. I see we got a few people watching. So anyway, we are going to jump in here. So this week's art challenge that BJ put out was Hedgehog. So we are going to try and draw a Hedgehog shirt and see what we can come up with. So starting right here, I am going to kind of just start with a little bit of a kind of a roundish looking head here for, we'll start. And I am using brushes I'm using here. I'm using BJ's brushes, which are down there in the chat. Hey Melanie, how are you? Good to see you in chat. Which are in the description as well. So we're going to go to the standard inker and make sure I got everything clear here. There we go. Okay, so let's see how we can do with coming out with kind of a rough sketch of what we want to make. It's going to be a hedgehog of some sort. So kind of, I'm just going to start here. He's going to have some square glasses that kind of just go back. And his head's going to be something like that, with some ears there, and then kind of a, maybe not such a pointy nose. We'll do something a little bit more, I don't know here. What are some ideas I could do? Kind of a smiley face looking thing there, with a heart-shaped nose. Kind of get that there. It's going to be filled in. So this is just a rough sketch here, guys. Just bear with me. I assure you it's going to kind of come together with something. And that's the point of doing any art. Don't worry about how it looks like. And this is why I like doing this in front of you guys, because it forces me to, I probably would have deleted this about 6 times, gotten frustrated and left. And that's something that all of us have to kind of worry about when we're doing any art. So this is just a sketch here. So we're going to kind of give them some funky looking paws here. And then the next biggest thing that kind of really needs to happen here is we got to kind of show how we're going to have hair and the spiky hedgehog stuff here. So I'm just going to kind of draw a little layer in the back. And it's also going to kind of come over there. And we can kind of merge all these down by opening up our layers tab and merging them down into there. So once again, this is a really bad hedgehog, but it's going to get better. I find multiple layers of refining do wonders. Okay, so kind of what I was thinking is his arm might be coming up here, and he's just putting on his sunglasses. So we'll just give him a couple fingers there, just kind of mock those in. And I think that'll kind of work right there. So we'll start with that, and let's see if we can refine this. So I like bringing my opacity way down, and maybe even selecting alpha lock and changing the color on this to something a little bit different. There we go. Fill layer. And bring that opacity down. And you can even change your background color to something a little bit more muted. Sometimes helps make things stand out. So let's just kind of do a gray there. Okay. Hey, Samantha, how are you? Good to see you. So we'll bring that opacity down, bring it up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to do a different background color. We're going to go over here into these bluish. No, there. There we go. Okay, so now let's get back over this here and see if we can kind of sketch out how this guy's going to look a little bit better. New layer, we'll go to black. And I like doing multiple kind of layouts here. And so I'm going to start kind of first with this head layer. I'm going to have those ears kind of popping up. And I'm just drawing an arc and holding to kind of get a bit of an arc piece here. Get these glasses. Get some nice squares going. There we go. And we'll make a little connector here. And this doesn't have to be the final sketch here. It can go through multiple iterations. That's the best thing about drawing cartoons and digital art, is you can do multiple versions. And we're going to just make those black. We're just going to make it all black right there. Kind of put in another circle there in that hedgehog ear. Okay, so that layer kind of looks good for a little bit start on the face. Now let's add another layer behind and see what we can come up with. I know a lot of you guys, some of you guys really like these videos, some of you really don't. But that's kind of up to you, I guess. So here we go. Let's see if we can draw a little bit of a better looking nose here. There we go, and we'll kind of make that a little bit of a brown here a little bit later. And then we'll add kind of a little bit of a mouth with a little bit of a chin there. And I think a more accurate style kind of face here is going to come down something like that. Maybe if I, you know what, maybe it might be better if we just kind of imply it there and come up. Okay, this is going to be really bad, guys. I'm sorry, I suck at drawing. But I haven't put up any shirts today. I spent most of the day kind of fighting with this stream. So that's the way it goes. Alright, so another layer. Good. Let's kind of get this body drawn in here. Make it a little bit more round. There we go. Since I use another layer, I can just come right in here. Let me bring that eraser size down a little bit and just erase right there where I needed to not overlap. There we go. Kind of starting to come together. We're going to add another layer. Let's see if I can sketch in these arms. Kind of coming up. And give them kind of 3 fingers here. Alright, which means I can come back down to this layer with this other stuff, and we're going to erase anything that should be behind this hand. And drawing live, it's never going to be as good. I would normally spend hours and hours working on a drawing if I'm going to put it out on a t-shirt, just because I'm not very good and it takes me that long. But you learn different tricks and you learn some different styles of things you can do, and you just keep practicing and keep getting better. Alright, so I don't know if that's really quite giving that appearance that I'm looking for, but we'll see what happens. Now we'll get rid of this line. Alright, so let's come back up here and draw the other arm. Alright, kind of come there, kind of get that first corner. Now, I'm making these kind of sharp corners. I don't know, maybe a good idea. It may not be. Let's see here. Maybe back that down a little bit. Then I'm just kind of giving them 3 fingers there, and then I'm going to come back down and do that erasing again. You can see I'm zooming in, I'm using my pencil and just clearing out on that other layer anything that should really not be there, because it's going to be hidden by this arm. I'm just trying to kind of get an inked out line layer here. Okay, now let's add some legs. Let's make those a little bit more rounded here, and well, we can do this. Nope, didn't like that. There we go. There we go. Now we can come back down to here. We'll erase that line there. And I'm just kind of building it up as I go. So I got the legs, I got the hands, and now we need to get the spikes. So we're going to add another layer here all the way in the back is where I'm going to add it. But it's also going to kind of come over in front. So let's just kind of start here. I think we can do better than that. Let's give this guy some spikes, actually. What happens if I press and hold? There, it's not quite as rounded as I'd like. Alright, so we'll be a little bit more deliberate here. And we're just going to kind of give him some spikes all the way up across here on the top. And we're just going to keep going with this here. We're going to see how it's going to go. At this point, I may not be thrilled with what I have going on, but that's kind of irrelevant to designing a t-shirt. You get an idea, you work with the tools you have, you work with the skills you have. If you need to, hire a designer. If you don't want to hire a designer, get better at drawing, get better at learning. There's all sorts of ways you guys can improve this stuff here. So let's see here. I also kind of want this spiky stuff over his face. So let's see here. That's going to have to get erased through here. There we go. Get erased. Nope, not right there. Erased right there. And in there. And then we're going to have to come back down to this other layer. We can turn off that sketch layer now. Come on back down here. And I'm going to erase right there. And just kind of give, let's see here. If I can do that on the ears, maybe it might make a little bit more sense. Okay. Oops, sometimes you just got to make sure you're on the right layers. There we go. That kind of makes that ear kind of look like it's popping out of some fur, was kind of the goal right there. And do I need to erase right there? Yes. Should be right there. Nope. Starting to get too many lines. I don't want to merge them all yet, but I think we're starting to come along a little bit better here. Need to erase right there. And we need to erase down here on this guy. Just cleaning up the lines. I might normally do multiple runs of this, but we're already at 13 minutes and most people have probably quit watching by now. So we're just going to kind of keep moving with this here and see what we can come up with. Oh, need to erase right there. Okay, so I think that kind of gets our basic sketch down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these layers and I'm merging them all and I'm turning them into a reference layer. All right, reference layer, adding a new layer. And this is where we're going to work with some of our colors. So we need to, do I have any good palettes? You know what, this one here might work. Let's do that. Will that work in there? Yeah. Actually, I think we're going to want to go a little bit darker. There we go. I like that. Should fit in right there. Right there. Oh, we got something open somewhere. Right there. Okay, so we're going to go back to the reference layer and just close that gap. you can do it a lot more neatly and a lot more efficiently and a lot cleaner here. Like, these lines are really sloppy, guys. Really sloppy. And I'm not very good, but that's the point of learning. So, alright, so we got this one here. Oh, that's going to have an issue here. So, let me get all these color drops off. Redo that paint stroke. There we go. And try and see where there's a gap. Sometimes these layers merge and they end up with little gaps. You can adjust your fill selection and make changes that way. Okay, back to our brown color. Alright, adding in, you know, this kind of this back of the hedgehog's fur and spikes. There we go. Okay, now we need kind of a lighter color for in the body, and I'm going to do that on a separate layer as well. Let's see what I had here in my palettes. Let's kind of start with this guy and maybe work him down something like that. Maybe a little bit darker. There we go. I like that. And fill in these little areas here. And get those ears. And we'll make that nose a brown. Maybe a little bit lighter brown. Okay, starting to come along a little bit more. Really still not the greatest, but we can do some more here to kind of make this just look a little bit better. On this layer here, I'm going to do some highlights. So I like coming in here, just grabbing a white. And we're going to add a little bit of actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this layer. Let me undo all that quick. I'm selecting this layer, and then I'm going to come in here, and what I basically want to do is kind of create some highlights. And I can do this a few different ways. I can do this, and I could just kind of come in here and color drop, but it's not the best way of doing it. So let me kind of boost this up. I kind of want to give all the tips just a little bit of a hint here of having some lighter color on all the tips. And yeah, I know it looks white. There's a few different blend mode options we can do here to kind of give this color a little bit more depth. And you know what? Definitely going to want it to kind of be popping on here a little bit. That should work for kind of a start. Let me see what happens. I can leave it on normal, and I can just reduce the opacity way down, and it adds a little bit of a lightening on each of those tips. But you get a lot more effect by going with black, I find, and actually sometimes doing the black first can help you figure out how you're going to do this. So let's start on this layer here, and we're going to look for everything that needs to be black. That one's definitely going to have to be darker. That's going to have to be darker. All of these down here are going to be darker. There we go. And then we can kind of start making this kind of spot. It's going to be right around the edges. There we go. And we can even, I'm going to turn off this white layer. I just don't like how that kind of worked out. Let me turn that off. Alright, let's turn this down. I can come to each of these and add just a little bit of a shadow effect to it. And it doesn't always have to make sense. Like, if you're worried about making it a realistic shadow, you can focus on that sort of stuff, but it just really doesn't necessarily have to make sense. Just putting some stuff in there to add some depth. Saying it doesn't make sense is going to upset some people. I know it will. But in reality, not many people are going to sit there and focus on, are the shadows of your cartoon perfect? So we'll just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so we got this kind of started working in a little bit of a weird way here. Like I said, the shadows aren't going to be perfect. They may not even make sense. All right, so that kind of gave that there. There's going to be a little bit of a shadow back here and around the ears. And maybe a little bit here behind the ear as well. And we can do something here. Let's do there, 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 there. We'll just kind of fit that in. Nope. I have the other layer labeled as a reference, so color dropping isn't working the right way unless I go turn off that reference. But we'll just kind of make this work. All right. Now we can do that opacity. We can bring that down, or we could do a color layer and bring down the opacity that way. I'm actually kind of just liking the normal and bringing down the opacity there. And what happens if I turn on that other one? Yep, there's some good little highlights in there, some different mixtures. That shadow on top kind of helps make it look like it has a little bit of a head. Maybe it would make more sense if it all just kind of blended in like that. And just kind of leaving those tips a little bit darker. There we go. Now I think that kind of gave the dude a little bit of definition. Now I'm going to add another layer on top of this colored layer. And we're going to change that to select here. And come back on this layer. Now this one here is where we can really kind of get some good definition going here. So I'm going to start under the nose. And here under the glasses. Just kind of add a little bit of a arc right there. We're also going to have a bit of a shadow line here underneath the hair. Inside the ear. It's going to be darker. Get inside this ear. Oh. Sometimes you may have to make your pencil a little bit smaller. Get where you need to be. Alright. Let's do a little bit of a shadow on this arm here as well. And like I said, it's a really sloppy shadow here, guys. So I could come back and spend, a few hours here refining this, making it perfect. But I think for the illustrative purposes here, I think this is fine. And I'm having fun with it. Got a cute little hedgehog here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bump up my brush size here. And add in this little bit of shadow effect here. And it's going to add a little bit of depth and dimension to our hedgehog. Let's see here. Did that give me enough to fill? No. I suppose I could turn that reference layer off, but being lazy. Okay, so still drawing here. You guys are pretty quiet in the chat today, but I had to make a few changes to my stream setup here. My computer reset, upgraded to Catalina, the new Mac software, which resulted in basically all of my settings not working for my stream setup. So I kind of had to redo everything today. So bear with me, my screens aren't all correct, and things just aren't the way they should be. But we'll get there. Alright, and for over here, I'm just going to kind of make this shadow fall off a little bit more here. There we go. And I'm going to have it come down underneath this arm. With some shadow there. Have this arm having some shadow. Get a little bit under the side of the face here. And definitely going to want some down here underneath this chin. Which, since it didn't connect, I can kind of imply it there with the way the shadow is going to come across the chin. There we go. And that kind of makes his belly look a little bit weird. There we go. Let's get it in there. See how that looks if I take it to normal and then just kind of drop it down. Now we're getting a little bit closer. I mean, I'm not terribly disappointed with how this is looking. Now I could come in here, I can do some add text, and I could do something like stay here. Let's edit the style. Let's see what sort of font I want. I could even just use something simple like impact. Done. Let me make it a white text. Oops, here. Edit text. Go back to the keyboard. Stay. Let's make this all caps. Stay hedgy. Let's see if I can make that all white. Select all. White. There we go. Can move that up on top of that line layer. And now that it's here, I can do all sorts of stuff with this. Can make it bigger. I can take this text. Maybe I want to kind of make this distressed. So I come here with the eraser, select that text one, and let's say I wanted to come in with any one of these textures or abstract shapes. So let's say I just came in here with a spicule, and I'm on here. Now I come in. Got to rasterize the text. So there we go. Now I can come in, change my brush size. I can do that and make it kind of edgy looking sort of setup. Let's change our background color to most likely what sort of color it's going to be on. I'm fairly okay with that. It's not great. The sunglasses definitely need something. But then again, we have been live for 30 minutes, so if I stay here and make it completely perfect, we'll have some issues. So let me select this layer, select. Let's add a little bit of a streak across these glasses. Since I didn't do them all as separate layers, just do there, there. Yeah, it needs one more right there. There we go. Okay, now that's looking a little bit better. The other thing we could do is we could... the best way to do this... Let's do this. Let's duplicate this layer. Alright, go to this bottom one. Select it. We're going to fill it with white. And then I'm going to come here to Gaussian blur. And do it just right down here at like a 20-25%. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me an outline around the hair here. So I'm going to duplicate, 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 duplicate. All right. Can merge all these down to speed up the process, and then duplicate again and again until you got yourself a nice white outline that outlines your design. You can merge those all again, and you can just keep going as many times as you would like. It's going to keep getting bigger and more defined. So the thing is, that doesn't quite work with my text, so the text is going to have to come somewhere else. I could do it right there. let's see. There we go. And there we go. I can do a Stay Hedgy Hedgehog shirt. This is a really terrible design. But let's list it. Let's get it listed on Amazon. Let's kind of quit messing around here and give you guys a listing. So share PNG. And I'm going to airdrop that to my iMac. And then we will jump over here to Merch by Amazon. Tell me what you guys think here. I have a couple of options for you guys with the way I have had to rechange the setup. I've got this setup here with all sorts of colors, or we can do basically the same one in black and white. You guys tell me. I think the black and white's a little bit less distracting, but I could be wrong there. So here's my sales for today, 11 for the day, and how my week's been going. Can't complain. It's not amazing, but definitely not complaining. All right, so we're going to come here to create, and I am going to utilize the Merch Wizard Chrome extension here to make sure that I can resize these properly without having to worry. So we're going to come here to upload artwork. There's our little hedgehog. And I've got my upload defaults already set, so I'm using the custom publishing settings from Amazon to automatically set up my listing. Now we need to find some search terms that people are looking for. You guys like the colors more yourself? I kind of do too. I think it fits in with the background there. Let me do this one. There we go. I kind of like that color right there. So put a black blur behind the lettering. Oh, that would have been a good call there. The blue and other colors pull attention. That's really what I was really kind of worried about. And I think that, so those of you guys are wondering here, let's just kind of pull up the chat. It says the black background and the blue and other colors pull attention away from the screen. I think so too. I had a really minimal setup, but I was just playing with this one. And I don't know. I'm going to keep tweaking and seeing what we can come up with. But I think you're right. This is just simpler and more to the point. Okay, so we're going to be here on Sonar Tool. So let's just see what happens with Hedgehog shirt. So t-shirt, Hedgehog shirt, Sonic. Definitely can't do on it. Cute Hedgehog, Supersonic, Rainbow, Orange Hedgehog shirt, Hugger Women's. So look at all these suggestions here. I can come down here. I love Sonar Tool. You guys, if you follow my channel, you know I use this website a lot because it gives you this nice download right here. I'm going to download this full list, and it basically does all the scraping of Amazon for me and comes up with all of the listings. Oh, did it not? Okay. Sonar Hedgehog. Okay, pretty much just straightforward Hedgehog shirt. So we're going to keep this listing very simple. So I kind of like how it's looking on there. It's not the greatest. It's not the prettiest design, but it's mine. So I'm going to roll with it. We need to activate the resizer, and we're going to resize this for a hoodie. I usually find zooming out 4 times makes it about perfect for the hoodie size. Then I download the PNG. And then we're going to change this to a pop socket. And I don't know that I'm going to do this on black. Yeah, I will. We'll just stick and keep with this simple. And I also find that 4 and just kind of reposition it here. Make sure it's going to fit in your circle good and hit download. All right, so I got my hoodie and my pop socket. Uploading them to right here and right there. Okay, so we're going to just do with Stay Hedgy Hedgehog. Stay Hedgy, and we're going to do sunglasses wearing Hedgehog. And the reason I'm doing Hedgehog last is I'm trying to get that exact keyword match for Hedgehog shirt. So that's kind of where I'm at here. So Stay Hedgy with this funny, stay edgy pun Hedgehog design. So now I'm putting Hedgehog as a space in here to try and catch both versions of it. Alright, so features a hedgehog wearing sunglasses with the phrase "Stay hedgy." I'm keeping this really simple. I'm doubling down, tripling down on "Stay hedgy," hedgehog, sunglasses. So I think that's kind of really what I wanted to do. I've been using DeepL, DEPL.com, to do my translations to German lately. So we'll start right here. I just grab this and copy. So let me pull open that question there here. So Simple Beth is asking, do you ever state that the design is company owned and designed or only available here? No. Because none of my designs are only available on Amazon. I have them almost all on other platforms. And if you haven't started doing that yet, I use Orbitkit to upload to all the other websites, and I highly recommend you do the same. You don't have to use software, but I highly recommend that if you haven't yet, start getting yourself onto other platforms. I can even show you guys. I think Spreadshirt just sent me a $45 payment, and I'm going to be due another one. Oops, wrong page. Let's get back on the German tab. Put that one in that key product features and English. There we go. So no, I don't ever really say it's a company design or exclusive to Amazon because it really doesn't offer a whole lot of advantage, I think. It may not be. A lot of people don't really read the descriptions. Yes, you should be using them to communicate with your customer, but putting things in there like company designed, original. I mean, if you have a following and it makes sense, like maybe on some of my Ryan A. Raymond ones, it would make sense to do something like that. But so here we go. I got all my t-shirts ready to go. I got right now I'm listing, got this, I guess my preferences were set for 1307 there, but that's cool. So I've got it on all products, and I'm going to click review and hit submit, and my listing's going live. And that's really all there is to designing a t-shirt with Merch by Amazon, for Merch by Amazon, using Procreate. This was a long video. If you guys hung out and stuck it out all the way to this point, I highly recommend that you guys subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and hit that like button. I apologize for the trouble with the streams the last few days. I think I got it figured back out. So we'll be doing these again. I was having some frustration after Catalina upgraded and all that sort of stuff. What is my favorite besides Merch by Amazon? Shopify. If I'm being honest, Shopify, my own store, followed by Spreadshirt, and then TeePublic, Teespring, T-Launch, Redbubble. All those other ones are all kind of about the same, one or two a month for me. But Spreadshirt consistently is, $50 to $100 a month, and my Shopify store is kind of sporadic, and part of that is I stopped posting on Instagram back in June. I had quite a few troubles with some issues with it. I got those all figured back out again, and I'm starting to see some sales pick up already for Q4. So it's pretty cool, and I've started sharing on that again. So if you guys haven't yet, at some point there's going to be a video that's going to pop up here and here for new videos for you guys to watch. Well, would you say exclusive to your brand? As a customer, it's nice to know you aren't wearing a hedgehog that could be sold elsewhere, potentially with negative connotations. I think you'd honestly are worrying way too much about something that 99% of customers aren't going to be concerned about at all. And to only limit yourself to Amazon or one platform for selling, I think is a terrible mistake to put all your eggs in one basket. I hope that helps, Beth. Yep, this is always going to be on replay, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.